Hi, my name's Ryan, hiring guru with today's hiring tip. Today's question is your application process a leaky bucket? Now, I grew up on a farm in a small town in Utah, and so at a young age, I had jobs to do. One of my main jobs was to feed the calves. I'd have to gather a big bucket of milk or water, just depending on, I actually did both, and I'd have to carry it out across the yard to where the calves were at. Now, a lot of times those buckets, I'll be honest, when I got done, I'd throw them back across the street. When you throw a bucket across the street that's made of plastic, it ends up getting holes and cracks in it. So the next morning I'd go out to go feed the calves, I'd fill it up with water, start carrying it across the street to the calves, and the water was dripping out of the bucket where all the cracks and all the holes were. I'd get across there and half the water would be gone. I'd end up having to go back and forth and make a bunch of extra trips. I was wasting a ton of energy because half the water or half the milk that I was feeding them was falling out while I walked out across the street. Now, my question is, could this be happening to your application process without you even knowing it? There's a statistic that we found pretty consistent across applicant tracking systems or online applications. It says that 50 to 70% of everybody who starts applying doesn't actually finish the application. Just think about that. Over half of everybody who reads your ad, clicks apply, and starts filling out an application at some point leaves and never comes back. Now, there's clearly a group of those people who might not be qualified for the job. Maybe they read your job questions, decided that really they weren't a fit and left. But there is a group of those people who are qualified who are leaving for a different reason, most likely because you offended them. And the offense is usually a handful of things. Number one, the application was just too long. You didn't provide them enough value to convince them to stick through the process to the end, especially since most employers don't even get back to them at all. Number two, you might have offended them with some of the questions you're asking. Specifically, if you're asking for references and the email address and phone number of those references before they've ever even met you or interviewed for the job, a lot of job seekers realize that those email addresses are the most important things that they have to validate who they are and how good they are at the job. Those are the most important people in their career, and they're not just going to give their email address out to somebody that they've never even met before. And finally, and hopefully nobody's doing this right now because we've made a lot of progress, but you might actually have dangerous or illegal questions that you're asking. Social security number, date of birth, driver's license number, or maybe even some offensive things that would cause discrimination like race and gender without telling them exactly how it's going to be used and making sure that the job seeker understands it won't be used in a bad way. All of these questions can scare or drive job seekers out of the application process. So I have 6 things for you to do to ensure that you're getting the most applicants who start applying to actually finish. Number one, you need to gather some statistics. Most employers have no idea how many people start applying. They only track how many people actually finish. So gather some statistics. This usually means installing Google Analytics on your career site or having an applicant tracking system that actually tracks it. Number two, look for what's called an exit in the apply process. Especially if you have a multi-step apply process, you want to know where people are exiting. It's not enough to just know that they're not finishing. You want to know what page they actually exited on. We usually find that job seekers most likely exit on references and employment history. Those are the 2 main pages they leave on. Number 3, walk through the application yourself. Just go and apply for a job at your company, and as you go through there, ask yourself those same questions. Is this too long? How long does it take? Are we asking questions that are offensive, either because we don't deserve that information or we're asking them for stuff that we don't use at all? Number 4, remove those questions. If you're asking questions that you don't use at all, throw them out. If you're asking questions that are offensive, reduce them. Reduce the length of the apply process, and every single time we found if you reduce the length or you reduce how long it takes, it increases applicant flow. Now the 6th is our bonus one. This is how you build the optimal process. Break the application process in half. Instead of having one long application, have a short initial expression of interest. It should be job questions, resume, EEO information like race, gender, vets, disabled on a separate page, and how they heard about the job. They should be able to finish those 4 sections in less than 3 to 5 minutes, even on a mobile phone. Then build out a second application stage after you've actually met them in person and interviewed them, or right before the interview, where you ask for employment history, education history, maybe the references at that point in time. Because you provided the job seeker some value, we actually put a real life face on your company and engage them, they'll be more willing to fill out the longer application. And then wait until the very end when you're ready to hire them to capture the information you need for a background check, like their social security number, date of birth, driver's license number. All of that information in some states is actually illegal to capture until you're ready to use it. But in all the other states, it's just offensive. Why would you capture a social security number on a group of applicants when you only need it on one or two of them? So break it into those 3 stages, and what you'll find is an instant increase in applicant flow. Again, we usually find that the clients can see anywhere from a 30 to 80% increase in applicant flow right off the bat by just shortening up the application, removing questions that are offensive, and especially if you break it into sections so that you have a short app, the longer app, and then your background check information at the very end of the process only on the people you're actually going to run it on. So that's today's hiring tip. Get the most out of your application process by knowing what's going on, reviewing it as a job seeker, and reducing how long it takes and the questions that you ask that might be sending them away. Hope this video finds you well, and until next time, good luck hiring.